This is Newsbeat from OU Daily. I'm Peggy Dodd.
And I'm Megan Pratt.
And these are your headlines. Last week, guest professor Robert P. George of Princeton University and Cornell West of Union Theological Seminary spoke to about 700 people in the Oklahoma Memorial Union.
The pair discussed political disagreements, democracy, intellectual humility, and they touched on critical race theory.
This talk was one of two events in the Presidential Speaker Series. The second will be in March, with guest former Speaker of the United States House of Representatives Paul Ryan. For more on the talk with George and West, visit oudaily.com.
For our listeners and our watchers, this is a trigger warning for sexual assault. Our next headline will discuss that. Student leader Emily Carr, head of OU's chapter of the National Campaign to Combat Gender-Based Violence and Sexual Assault on Campus, It's on Us, talked with OU Daily about the Red Zone. The Red Zone is the first half of the fall semester when more than 50% of all college sexual assaults occur. Carr said that contributing factors include the introduction of alcohol and other substances. The organization's goal is to inform and educate students, and the university encouraged students to call OUPD to report assaults and Safe Walk. And you want to talk about Safe Walk, Peggy?
Yeah, Safe Walk is a free service where residential advisors, commonly known as RAs, can walk members of the OU family anywhere on campus. Safe Walk's number, should you ever need them, is 405-325-WALK. And a new OU program, Impact 360, provides transitional support and teaching skills to students with autism pursuing degrees in STEM. Angela Barber, director of Impact 360, told OU Daily that they focus on social skill development. This helps students get involved on campus and transition into college life. The program is currently accepting donations and applications.
Founder and executive chairman of Continental Resources, Harold Hamm, is coming to campus on September 6th. Hamm will discuss his new book, Game Changer, our 50-year mission to secure America's energy independence, with OU President Joseph Harris Jr. Hamm is a donor of over $65 million to the OU Health Harold Hamm Diabetes Center, and he's also a member of the Oklahoma Hall of Fame.
He's also a member of OU's Lead On campaign committee, which is the largest philanthropic campaign in the history of Oklahoma's higher education. With a goal of raising $2 billion, Lead On, the University of Oklahoma's campaign for the future, builds upon OU's core traditions. During Tuesday's City Council meeting, Norman Police Chief Kevin Foster shared some calls for service and crime statistics with council members. Those include that calls for service are up 7% and vehicle collisions are up 4%. Norman's crime rate per 1,000 people is 12.25. Foster gave specific statistics for calls involving unhoused individuals. That total is about 2,700 calls. 337 of them came from food and shelter, and 99 came from a friend's house, which is the city's current housing shelter. Math done during the meeting from Ward 7 Councilmember Stephen Tyler Holman found that crime involving unhoused individuals equals less than 1% of total crime. For more information on those statistics and what happened at that meeting, check out oudaily.com.
All right, Peggy, do you want to talk about what happened yesterday?
Absolutely, I do. The Crosstown Clash was yesterday at OU's Gaylord Family Oklahoma Memorial Stadium. The Crosstown Clash is a Norman classic. Okay. It's a yearly game where Norman High plays Norman North. Those are the two big high schools in Norman. Yeah. From what I understand, it's a really, really big deal in the city realm.
Oh, okay. Norman Public Schools released updated security guidelines earlier this week following the shooting at Choctaw High School football game last Friday. That incident left 1 dead and 4 injured. At this year's game, students were required to show school IDs, and OU's guidelines, including the clear bag policy and prohibited items list, were all enforced. To see who won that game and more, check out the sports tab on our website.
The Undergraduate Student Congress honored OU softball and OU women's gymnastics at its first general body meeting on Tuesday. The resolutions recognized both teams for their national titles last season.
COVID-19 cases are on the rise again with the appearance of new variants. According to the Center for Disease Control, Oklahoma saw a 65.5% increase in hospitalizations from late July to August 19th. Dr. Dale Bratzler is the dean of OU's Hudson College of Public Health and former OU chief COVID-19 officer. He told OU Daily, "No one is sure that protection from new vaccines, old vaccines, or prior infections will prevent the spread of a new variant." Current CDC guidelines say people with symptoms and a positive test should stay home for at least 5 days and mask when they leave their homes.
OU Health Services hosted an International Overdose Awareness Day event on Thursday. There, the organization promoted Narcan, recovery services, and handed out free items like first aid kits, hand sanitizer, pill container keychains, and drug deactivation systems.
Lastly, moving to state politics, Oklahoma House Democrats called for a bipartisan investigation into State Superintendent of Public Instruction Ryan Walters on Tuesday. The Democrats allege Walters misspent federal funding and failed to report campaign expenses. Norman Representative Jacob Rosecrans said to OU Daily he supports this investigation, blaming Walters' actions for recent bomb threats at Tulsa area schools.
Now let's look at the Daily's calendar for coming events this week. Sooner football is back. OU season opener against Arkansas State will kick off at 11 a.m. on Saturday, and tailgating will make its return to Lindsay Street at the start of the season. The volleyball team will play at Oregon State later today. Tomorrow they will play Boise State. And on Sunday, OU soccer will play Montana. Roman Holiday will also play at the Cross A Black Box Theater.
As the school year ramps up, OU Daily's calendar fills up. Our calendar tab on our website, if you want to check it out, features campus, city, and statewide events.
Yes, and thank you for listening to the Newsbeat from OU Daily. This is the Daily's weekly news podcast. New episodes of the Newsbeat will air every Friday, and each episode will give you a short recap of what happened on campus and across Norman that week.
Be on the watch for longer special editions about each of our print productions. During those episodes, you'll get a behind-the-scenes look at articles and hear from reporters about their stories before you pick up your copy.
But in the meantime, keep up with us throughout the week on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Threads at the OU Daily and on our website at oudaily.com.
Sports fans, check out the OU Daily Sports Podcast. Hear the latest in OU sports and commentary from sports editor Colton Soley and assistant sports editors Jason Batacchio and Louis Razor. You can find that on YouTube, Spotify, and OUDaily.com.
And it is always a good time on the sports podcast. But if you'd like to hear more about the stories you heard on this podcast, you can find those and more online. My name is Peggy Dodd. I'm a news editor here at The Daily.
My name is Megan Pratt. I'm a news reporter here at The Daily.
And we will both see you next week here on the Newsbeat.